G'day everyone, Kate Fantanell or Lady Liberty Australia here with a very exciting special Easter Sunday announcement. Those of you who have been following me for a while would know that I have been living on the road since March last year when I packed up my life in beautiful Perth and headed over east to Queensland to work for a shooting organisation as they prepared for the Queensland state election. Now, I only lasted up there less than a month. I was made homeless, unemployed, sold my car in Perth, didn't have my things, and I ended up going home to my parents' house in South Australia. I had nowhere else to go. It was a very dark time for me. I've sacrificed so much for the shooters of Australia. That is my passion, that is my vocation. And I have tried to work with the shooting organisations around Australia, and the way that I have been treated, politically knifed, it's left me in a very precarious position in my professional and personal life. So after that incident in Queensland, which I will be able to talk about in more detail soon, I ended up getting an invitation to head across to the United States of America in May last year to attend some Liberty events from my friends in the Liberty movement in the United States who have been following my work from afar and who respect me, valued me, and wanted me to come to America to meet them and help advance liberty in the United States. Now, that 2-week trip turned into a 2-month trip because I met my now husband, Mr. Liberty, in what could be described as a Hallmark romantic movie. And we were married in Las Vegas last year, just a few months after meeting. So it just goes to show how quickly things can turn around. Now, we headed back to Australia after 2 months because my beloved grandmother passed away. So returned to Australia. Mr. Liberty was living in Victoria. I was living at home in South Australia, and it was very, very hard coming back to my country with no employment opportunities. The only employment opportunities I've had since my 2022 Senate campaign have been in the resources sector, of course, in Western Australia. That's a big industry there. But all of those job offers came with the condition of deleting all my social media and stopping my activism and advocacy for liberty and for firearm owners. That is something that I was never prepared to give up. It put me in very difficult situations. I ended up taking a job back in my trade as a makeup artist, and that was a very difficult time for me in Perth too, because I always felt I could do so much more, especially for my community, the firearm owning community of Australia. So it's been a long, long journey the last few years. It's been very hard for me. I know a lot of you have supported me along this way, especially after what happened in Queensland. The support that I received from individuals has been the only thing that's kept me going. The support of my family and friends who kept me sheltered and fed when I had nowhere to go. It was on that trip in America last year that I got to meet one of my inspirations in the liberty movement. His name is Dan Taxation is Theft Behrman, and yes, that is his real middle name. He has a book, Taxation is Theft. I, of course, have the Tax is Theft dress, which I wore on my wedding day. And we met and we got along so well. We became friends. Mr. Liberty and him became friends. And he has an incredible organization and company called Blood of Tyrants. So when we got back to Australia, we kept in touch with Dan. I helped look at his book, edit his book, gave him some ideas for his business. And he heard about the predicament that Axel and I, Mr. Liberty, were in back in Australia. And he offered me an incredible opportunity to move to the United States and work with him, for his Blood of Tyrants company. He has this liquid freedom energy drink. It's tea. It's all natural ingredients. He has this wine range as well. And it was an offer that I had to sit down and think about because my family fled fascist Italy after World War II. They came to Australia for freedom, for a new life. And for me, not having the same opportunity to succeed in my country that my grandfather and my father have had has put me in that position that many other young Australians are in. no prospect of owning a home. Mr. Liberty working FIFO jobs, barely seeing each other, living on the road together. And we got to the point where we just could not see a happy, prosperous future for us in our home country. And that was a very, very devastating thing to realize. Of course, I sat down with my father, my hero, the reason that I fight so hard for Australian gun owners. And I asked him for his advice. And he said to me, Kate, just go and make a life for yourself in America where you're appreciated, where you're respected, where the firearm community there do not treat you like you've been treated in Australia. You go and make a life for yourself. So I have. Mr. Liberty agreed. We have moved officially to the United States of America. We are in San Antonio, Texas, here with my boss, Dan Taxation is Dan Behrman. And we are so excited about the opportunities we have here. And the other thing that I have to point out and stress, part of the conditions of my job, I said to Dan, if I take this job, I will not be quitting what I'm doing in Australia, and particularly my home state of Western Australia, with this fight against the gun laws. That is one condition. And he said, I want to help you. And he already has. We are already working on plans here to help my community back in Australia, and especially Western Australia, with what's happening there. I am still committed to the legal action challenge. In fact, the last person I spoke to before I left Australia was my lawyer on the phone. Not my dad, not my family, my lawyer. I have been in regular communication with him as my Casey is preparing for the next stage of legal action. And of course, I am still funding that from the generous donations of you, the people. So that fight is ongoing. It is a lot for me to take on. You may be getting emails from me at strange times, but I am still working very hard for Western Australia. And that is something that my new boss supports. And like I said, we are working on plans here from the United States of America, where we have the Second Amendment, where we have the First Amendment. I would not even be allowed to wear this shirt in Australia because of the hate speech laws. I cannot live in a country where I cannot stay in my home state of Western Australia because I would be denied a firearms license because of my views, attitudes, and opinions, or because of my medical history. I cannot live in a country that does not recognize my God-given inalienable rights. So I have come to a country, to a place where I have a community around me who have made me feel so welcome, something that I haven't felt in my own country for so long now. And especially, I have to say this again, the way that I have been treated and portrayed by the establishment, by the shooting organizations over there, when I've sacrificed so much for this fight and I am still copping it, I'm still getting slandered and having horrible things written about me. I could not live in a country where I am treated like that. So I'm sorry, I'm a bit emotional. This is very hard for me. This is my new studio here in San Antonio, and I will be hosting a podcast with Dan Taxation is Theft Behrman. He has a podcast called Taxation is Theft. We will be going live on Monday night in the United States time, which is Tuesday morning for you in Australia, but you can always watch it back. I will be working very hard with him. I obviously align with his views on freedom and liberty. So I'm so excited to finally find my place in the world. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I could not stay in Western Australia or Australia. It was honestly a heartbreaking choice. Saying goodbye to my dad was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, and the rest of my friends and family. But they know that I will be able to succeed and do far more than I ever could if I stayed in Australia. So please keep in touch with the Legal Action Challenge. I am talking to my lawyers regularly. We are getting ready to go for the next stage of the battle. I have said to them, as soon as they need me back in WA, if we are going ahead with class actions, that I will be there. I will be there to speak to the media. I will be there to represent you and to see this four-year battle that we have. I'm committed to that. while also building my life here in the land of the free, home of the brave with Mr. Liberty. I'm so excited. I'm sad. I've been homesick already. It's Easter. First Easter away from my family since I was locked behind the Iron Hall curtain in WA for 2.5 years. So I'm a bit emotional, but I just wanted to deliver this special announcement, this Easter announcement as new life. That is what Easter is about, new beginnings. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, I will continue to fight for firearm owners, for liberty, for Australia. And you can rest assured I will be making the biggest noise about what's happening in our country from here, from a place that values freedom and liberty and who have been horrified by what's happening, especially in my home state of Western Australia with the gun laws. So please continue to follow me. I need your support now more than ever. I'm committed to you, to the fight. And thank you. Thank you. I would not be here today if it wasn't for you, for your generosity, for helping me after what happened in Queensland, for helping me and getting behind me with the legal action challenge, which put this job, I have to be honest, it put this job in a difficult situation for me, especially because of the media that came out. I had to deal with that while negotiating contract with my new boss. It's honestly been a lot for me to handle, but I know in my heart that I'm doing the right thing, and that's what you get when you go against the state and the establishment. You become a target and they will use all sorts of dirty tricks to try and smear me. So no, I have not been to Vegas. I'm not gambling away all the legal action fundraiser that I raise. That is not my character. I am paying the bills to my lawyers. I have them on a retainer. Like I said, the bills are coming in. That money you donated is specifically for the legal action fight. I have a job now. I'm getting paid here. I'm so excited about the things I can achieve. So I'll wrap up by saying Happy Easter. I miss Australia already, but I'm excited about my future here in the United States of America, San Antonio, Texas. Please, if you are coming across to this beautiful country to visit, please swing by. I cannot wait to see some Australians again. So thank you. Thank you again. Thank you for your support. I'm sorry to those people who might be disappointed by this. I wish I could have stayed in my country. It's not a decision I made lightly with my history of being an immigrant, a family of immigrants. But this is what happens when your country goes to the dogs. So I will do everything I can to fight for my country from here. And as soon as I can, I will be back. So thank you. Happy Easter. And I'm Lady Liberty Australia. I'll be going live Monday night American time, Tuesday morning if you're in Australia. So I'll be live with the Taxation is Theft podcast and my new boss, Dan Taxation is Theft Behrman. Please tune in. I still will be doing videos where I can piece to cameras about legal action. I've got my studio now. I'm ready to go. Lady Liberty Australia. She's gone to the USA to be free and to fight for my country from here. So thank you, and I'll speak to you soon.